Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And, I'm Commissioner Bob Burns, and we may have Commissioner Olson yet. Apologize for being late. I only had a little over 70 miles to go to get here, and my GPS didn't have this address. So I saw the school back down here, and I thought, maybe that was it. But anyway, maybe. But let me kind of go over the rules that we need to follow here, and we'll give County Supervisor, did you wish to make a statement again today? And,
I could.
yeah, okay, well let me go over the rules here. This is a what we call a public comment section, and because we are probably at some point in time, or will at some point in time, be in a situation of settling a dispute. The utility will, in all probability, ask for an increase. People here may not want to accept that idea, and so it'll be up to the commission to make a decision as to what way it goes. Now, the meetings we were at yesterday, some of the people indicated that they just thought there was going to be an increase. Well, that decision is not made until the commission hears all the evidence. And so this is not necessarily a gathering of evidence, but public comment. So the commissioners cannot, if Commissioner Olson arrives, we cannot get into any kind of an exchange with the people that are here to give comment. We can only listen. Everything is recorded. Everything will be entered into the docket at the commission. So it's very important that you give us your comments, because they will, again, be recorded. And all of the commissioners have access to that information, and will access that information when it comes time to review the case that will be before us to make a decision on, relative to whether or not there is an increase, or there could be a decrease, or the request that the company makes could be modified by the commission at that time. Now, we also have a couple gentlemen here from ADEQ, so they're obviously taking notes and are interested in what you have to say as well. So with that, I would ask the County Supervisor if you would like to come up and address the audience, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We'll try to limit comments to about 3 minutes, although it doesn't look like I have a lot of slips at the moment, so we can be a little bit lenient on that time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Would you like, yesterday we opened with a prayer and with a Pledge of Allegiance. Would we like to do the same today?
I guess we can do that.
Okay.
Prayer and the pledge.
I'd be happy to. Put myself out there, didn't I? Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the blessings of this life and for privileges that we have to live in this great country. We're grateful for the processes, the due processes that we have in this free nation. We recognize its flaws, but we also recognize its greatnesses because of what we do have, the freedoms. As this process continues on throughout this day, we ask thy special blessings upon us. May we be considerate of one another and of one another's feelings. May those that come and speak be able to speak freely, and may they be understood and heard. We're grateful for all that thou hast done for us, and we pray for these blessings and favors, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Probably shouldn't be the first one to offer such things. And maybe if I could address the audience a little bit. To recap as to why we're here, I believe that it's important that the community know that the county itself has been heavily engaged in the last year of getting things to this point. And I appreciate what the county has done and listening to our citizens here in the Santan Valley area. Appreciate the Corporation Commission for having a listening ear and coming to this point and being here in these hearings, as well as the ADEQ and the coordinated efforts that have been given over the last several months and bringing us to this point. I'd like to encourage you as citizens, this is your opportunity to come up and be heard. There's only a few slips there. If you're here, it's because you have an interest. It's time for you to speak up and say what you need to say. They need to hear you. This is going to be a matter of public record, okay? This is important for you to take a stand and say what you need to say. If you like the way things are being done, state that. If you're unhappy, state that. And so I'm encouraging you to take a stand if this is the opportunity to do that. Be respectful to one another, and especially to the gentleman that sit up here. He's a lone man right now, okay? He doesn't have his guys with him. So be respectful to him. Be respectful to ADEQ is what I ask. I think you can be passionate about what your feelings are, but I also believe that you can be respectful. And so I just ask that you do that. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We can hear a lot better with this one here, it looks like. I actually set my timer for 5 minutes, so, but since we don't have that many slips, we can go ahead and get started. Anyway, we'll get started, and I have Ray Feeney, I believe, if I pronounce that last name right. And then Nadine Clark will be after Ray.
Good morning. I'm just here to voice an opinion. First off, I want to thank you folks for giving us an opportunity to speak. My opinion is there's been some problems in the past that haven't been resolved, and I don't believe this company is entitled to a rate increase at this time. It feels like we've been overcharged for years, and if anything, our rates should be lowered to pay some of that back rather than increased. And that's my opinion, simple and sweet. Thank you.
One thing that I was going to clear up and I had forgotten. Actually, the commission basically ordered Johnson Water to come in for a rate review. And that review is what triggers an audit of the books of the Johnson Water Company. So that's what got us basically to this point right now, is that the commission actually ordered Johnson to come in. So, okay, Nadine?
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
I've been listening to the news, some demographics. I live at Oasis at Magic Ranch. My backyard backs the Oasis golf course. I have not heard anything about anybody addressing the medical problems that the water company has caused. I lived at the same address for the last 6 years. I have gone through number 4 E. coli scares, 3 nitrate scares. I've been to the ER 3 different times with breathing problems caused by The rotten egg smell in the mornings and the evenings. I go to brush my teeth at night, and it comes up from my bathroom sink. My grandson has an enlarged liver. I put an $8,000 water purification in my house. I have gone to my neighbors during a nitrate scare that had babies and elderly people like myself, making sure they had a water purification unit in their house. I think, frankly, that I was hoping that maybe Florence would incorporate us, but they didn't. I understand why they didn't. I really think they should at least give us a 75% decrease. So it'll give people that don't have the water purification units in their house money enough to at least get one before there's some deaths because of Johnson Utilities. Thank you.
Joseph Rollery, thank you.
I'd like to thank the Commission for allowing me to speak. I have only two topics. The first topic is the fact of water pressure. A water pressure issue that we have in our area that's under 15 pounds of pressure. Under 15 pounds of pressure majority of the time. A fire hydrant takes 20 pounds of pressure. And at numerous times I've reported to the ADEQ and to the Commission the fact of the public safety issue with this, that we only have one water tender tanker in the area. Johnson Utilities fails to tell the fire district when there's no water, and also fails to provide adequate fire suppression. Second issue is the fact that you guys, the Commission just said that you guys are getting the financials from Johnson Utilities. I think the public should have a copy of those financials so we can see where that money was spent and how it's spent. So that's pretty much my comment. Thank you.
Well, okay, I have my policy advisor, Steve Olea, here behind me, or in the back of the room. I'll have a question to ask him and answer the question that was raised here. Those become public record, right, Steve?
Yes, everything that Johnson has filed with us is in the docket, and it can be and you can get it on the internet. I don't have the docket number with me, but we will read it out to you so you can go on our docket, get the docket number, and everything that's filed by any of the parties is in that docket, including all of the financials that will be filed by Johnson Utilities will be in that docket.
And that's the same information that's being recorded here today as from your comments. Go into that docket. So, Donald Demert, I believe.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just have a question. Is the commission the same commission that George Johnson is being indicted for bribing?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay. And are they the same commission who is reviewing the rate increase that said, George, you can recover your legal expenses through the corporation?
Well, again, I'm not supposed to get into exchanges here.
I understand.
But like we said, the information that Johnson Utilities' current financials are entered into the docket. Okay, for everybody it's a public document docket so that you can all review that.
Okay, thank you.
Michael Dobb? Dobie? Okay.
Well, I'm a snowbird, and so I'm a little new at the area here, but I would hope that the rate increase that Johnson Utilities is proposing is not to potentially cover his future legal bills. That's kind of a question.
Well, again, I can't. Again, I'm not to get into any exchanges, so, I mean, The question has been asked and is on the record. So.
Okay.
Irving Malcolm, I believe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here today. I just want to bring up a few things. I've been in this area since the development of this community, about 18 years. And when I first moved here, the price of water today versus what it cost when I first came over here, it's doubled. And some of that is because of the cargo fee was added in, and that wasn't there in the beginning. I have seen numerous height increases through the years that I have been here. And the water bill in my house sometimes is more than my utility bill. Because whether I use 6,000 gallons of water here, it's $99. If I use 2,000 gallons of water, I'm still going to pay a minimum of $70 for the 2,000 gallons. So I am totally against any increases or height in the water. The one thing else I want to bring out too is that I pay this for water, but yet I can't drink it. I can take a bath in it. I can wash the car in the house. But because of the levels of nitrate and the different things that we have been through, you can't drink the water. I see the report that they sent out, and they said the water passes, but it passes with minimum standards. So instead of taking a chance of drinking water, I had to go and buy purified water. A second note of that, I'm also the president of the community across the street, Rancho Bella Vista South. I am the president of that community. And since conception of that community up to now, we have taken all kind of ways to try to cut back on the water. We pay almost $300,000 a year in water just to water the little bit of grass that we got there. I approached Just Utilities about reclaim because all the other communities around here are mostly reclaimed. We are fresh water. They already denied me on dealing with any of that, but it costs us a lot in water. $300,000 to water a little bit of grass we got over there is very expensive. So to end this, I've been here for 18 years in this community, and seeing how the water has doubled since I have lived here, I say no, they should not get an increase. It should be a decrease.
Joe Case.
Can we come up together? I'm his wife.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Well, you see what happens at our house.
Thank you, gentlemen, for allowing us to speak. I'm Mary Tucker Case, and this is my husband, Joe Case, and we've lived in this area for 14 years. One of the things that I'd like to go on record as saying is, and I've joked about this, but it's not really a joke. I've referred to Johnson water as the Flint, Michigan water because it's so bad. I was a substitute teacher at one of the schools that we could not drink the water. One time, the children couldn't even wash their hands. They had to shut all the water off. Water had to be brought in. Well, that's pretty sad when your children can't drink the water. And some of the things that I'd like to state is it's my feeling that this rate, the request for a rate increase is kind of coincidental since he's been indicted on charges for having a rate increase before. The other thing that I'd like to state is that at 10 years, when we moved in, we had brand new appliances, brand new. We had to get new appliances because the water had ruined our appliances. They couldn't even unhook the appliances, our refrigerator and the washing machine, because the valves were corroded. So we had to get a special plumber to come in and fix this. The other thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed, I don't know this for a fact, but I think it's true. Our plants are dying randomly. And the only thing that I can attribute it to is that it's the water. And the other thing is our water rate, we do not have a pool, we have desert irrigation. Our water bill is astronomical, and we're not drinking the water. We have to go out and buy water. So I just think, and one other thing that I'd like to address, we get a newsletter every month with our bill, with George Johnson's political views. We have no rebuttal process for this. I mean, people may agree or may disagree. Are we paying for this letter to be printed up for his political views? So thank you for letting me speak.
Okay, I'm on the clock. How much time I got here? She took 4 minutes, right? Okay, I get 30 seconds. I'll tell you, as my wife said, we've lived out here for about 14 years. When we hit town here, $65 just to hook up. And I'm a Hoosier boy from Indianapolis, and I'd never heard of that. Secondly, women periodically that are pregnant or have little kids have been told, hey, don't touch the water. And by the way, I'm glad that the Department of Environmental Quality is here, because I know there's not a person in this room hasn't smelled the Johnson creep. It's terrible. The odor sometimes in the morning or in the evening, and the coloration of the water. Some of our residents have been saying it ranges from a tan to a deep brown. There's a question of the decorative ponds down here at Santan Heights. And we're living on top of what amounts to a landfill, in my estimation, as far as water is concerned. You know what happened, and I also think it's a supply and demand thing. George was able to do what he wanted to do out here. You know, money talks and we know what walks. And what happened was, as time went on, you got more and more folks, you got more and more development, et cetera, people throwing up houses. And his philosophy, as he said one time I read in the report, was, I do what I want. Well, I think that period of time is over. You've got people who can't even take a decent drink of water or a shower, and they're paying $100 or more a month for water. That's insane. The product is not being held to a standard for the price that we're paying. I don't care if a guy makes $300 million a year, but by God, I want water pressure. I want water I can drink. We haven't babe? We haven't carried water in the house. I've been doing it for 3 years now or something. Yeah. So anyways, I want to thank you for listening to me, Commissioner Burns. And by the way, I voted for you. And don't disappoint us. No, you've done good, man. And I do want to say this. I never heard hardly anything from the other commissioners. You put out a newsletter. You let us know what's going on. You act like, to me, a man has nothing to hide, and I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you. Let's all go turn on our taps and see if we can get up to 20 PSI.
Okay, Mary Tucker.
I've already spoken, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Two for the price of one.
All right. Okay, and I do have the docket number, and in case you want to write that down, if I can find it on here. There it is, I see it. Okay. And it's the numbers we use, the numbering system we use is relatively long, so I'll read this off, but it's WS-0298-7A-17-0392. And if you go on to the azcc.gov webpage and pull up that docket number, you can go through all of the records that are there. Sure, I'll read it back again one more time. Okay, it's WS dash 0298-7A dash 17 dash 0392. Okay, one more time. WS dash 0298-7A dash 17 dash 0392. It's AZCC, Arizona Corporation Commission, azcc.gov. And I got another slip here now for a person wishing to speak, Ashley Horn, or I believe it's Horn, yes.
Good morning. I wasn't planning to speak, and I certainly wasn't planning on it being recorded. Otherwise, I would have dressed up a little nicer. I've been a resident for almost 11 years, year-round, summer, winter, you name it. I've got 5 children that we can't drink the water. The rate increase, that should be an absolute no. The reasons being, will we get better water? Probably not. In fact, if history's taught us anything, no, we're not going to get better water with a rate increase. That rate increase, the last time, wasn't it to pay his property taxes? Did that help any of us? Nope. He doesn't live here. He's not invested here. He doesn't care what us lowly residents drink. And the frequent water or the frequent sewer leakage, will the rate increase go to repair anything or to prevent them? Probably not. And the shady billing practices. Is there any other company that can get away with charging whatever they want? We use on average about 7,000 gallons of water a month. We do not have a pool. We don't have any of that. We don't even water our grass. You can ask our HOA. And yet, we can get a bill for $7,000 or 7,000 gallons usage, and our bill is $100. So the next month, 7,000 gallons usage, and our bill $120. We could use 6,000 gallons of water, and we would still pay $130 a month. And you go and call, and you get no answer. Oh, you must have a leak. Oh, you must this or that. No way. No to the increase. Also, with the George Johnson's letters that he sends out with his bills every month, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. Here's why. He wants to keep things the way they are so that he can keep doing what he's doing. If we are a united community, he'd actually have to contend with us, a united front. If he can keep us scrambled, he can continue doing what he wants to do. That's all I have to say, and I vote no.
And at this point, I don't have any slips that say they want to speak. I have a number of slips here that say they are not prepared to speak. But if there is someone else, certainly come up. Yes. Can I speak again for a second? Well, let's let this gentleman speak. Yeah. And give your name and your address, and then.
I'm Bruce, and I am a snowbird. I guess the one big complaint I got, there's a lot of us that are coming from North Dakota, and to pay our water bill when we're only here for 3 or 4 months, sometimes 5, and to pay a water bill when we are gone, I've never heard of anything so crazy in my life. But what do? Pack up and move, and I guess we've all talked about it, but I just think you shouldn't have to pay for something you do not get. If they want to charge me $100 to hook my water up and $100 to unhook it, so be it. I'll pay the $100. But to pay $70 a month for 7 months that I'm gone, I do not agree, and I vote no.
Okay, is there anyone else here that, okay, we got, and if you'd give your name and address, please. And then when you're finished, we need to get the slip so we can have a record.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Van Stunis. I'm at 336 West Bismarck, Solera, Johnson Ranch. I'm with everybody that's been up here. I vote completely no against this rate increase. I'm with that young lady that has problems with billing. You go over there and you get nothing but excuses, and you don't get anything responding back that makes sense. They say they do an average of over 500, and that's why you go to 7,000, but if the bill is still 7,000 gallons, I'm with her. Your bill jumps all over the place. We put a distiller in our property because we do not drink the water. We have areas in Solera that the pressure goes down to 8 pounds. We have green areas that we can't even run the sprinklers. And I think this is a public safety issue because I don't believe the fire department could put out any fires. So again, I repeat, no to this rate increase.
Okay, Gail Hudson.
Good morning. I've been here about 7 years, and the water is just horrendous. And everyone spoke about their children, but what about our pets? What about our pets? I have 3 dogs, and when we drink spring water, they drink spring water. There's no way I would give my dogs that water. I mean, when I first moved here, to give you an example, I didn't know. I'm washing my hair. My hair was this long. When I got finished, the water, the chemicals and stuff in that water broke my hair off. And I have pictures to prove it. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I said, it's the water. I realized it was the water. It's what's in the water. And certain things in our home is being eaten away. What was the thing, honey, that it ate? A water hose connection. I've never seen water eat away metal. And we're constantly replacing hoses and the water, how we water our plants, leaks all the time. So I oppose. Thank you.
And if there's anybody that spoke that didn't fill out the sheet, did you fill out a sheet? Okay, very good. All right. And if you want to come up again, then, and then if there's anybody else, we need to get you to sign up, and we'll get you on the schedule.
Again, I'm Nadine Clark. I live at 23925 North Desert Agave. I'm probably one of 39 people that is causing Johnson Utilities to raise their rates because of my breathing problems and being in the ER 3 times. I tried to contact the Pinal County Air Quality Board, was assured that they're being monitored, got fed up after the 3rd time and contacted the Federal Air Quality Board, and they're supposed to be penalizing them monetarily for the smell. Nothing has been done. My backyard, as I said before, backs the golf course. They water that golf course with water from their containment center with feces water. I have one little pine tree that survived because the sprinklers come into my backyard. I have 2 German Shepherds. One had major health problems because of drinking the water. I didn't even think twice. But my see-through metal awning on my back fence, this is on top of the cement, is completely rust through. My neighbor a year ago was in the process of selling her house and lost a whole big problem there with the metal fencing. It just fell onto the golf course. Basically, something's got to be done because, as I said before, somebody's going to die of it. very shortly.
Okay, I'll keep asking here. Is there one more time? Anyone else that wishes to speak? And again, we need the slips filled out when you're finished speaking. So, and name and address.
Thank
please.
you, Commissioner. My name's Bill Palick. I live at 945 West Cactus Mint Circle in Solera. I grew up in Arizona, in Tucson. I went to the University of Arizona. Then I traveled around the country with the National Park Service, lived in Bush, Alaska. And I've got to tell you, since we've moved back here, I'm really happy with the service we get from SRP. I'm really happy with the service we get from Mesa Gas. But the service we get from Johnson Utilities makes me feel like I live in a third world country. And I think it makes me sad and embarrassed to have to deal with a utility that's as inept, and that's the kindest word I can say, as inept as Johnson Utilities rather. And I can't tell you how opposed I am to this rate increase. To me, it's an insult to even be considering it.
Ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Brenda. I live in Johnson Ranch. I've lived here 8 years full time. And in the 8 years I've been here, not only have the rates continued to increase, but the quality of the water continues to decrease. And I don't think any of us here would argue with the fact that we are willing to pay a decent price for a decent product. But paying all this money and having to go buy bottled water to drink, having to buy expensive filters for your refrigerator so that you can cook with that water. We have to have filtration systems into the house because even though my new house is only 4 years old, the water has already eaten the plumbing. All of my faucets are already starting to be eaten. All of the toilets insides have, all the rubber and everything has been eaten away within 4 years from this water. My dogs cannot drink the water. If they accidentally, if my son gives them water, they'll vomit within a half hour. They're sick. So it's ridiculous to me to think that we are going to keep paying for this monopoly that George Johnson has on the water for him to live a high life while the rest of us are struggling to have enough water to drink and to have something decent. I don't water my yard. I don't have a swimming pool, but I'm still paying $80 to $90 a month for water for 2 people in a house, and we're not even home 90% of the time. So I definitely am against the rate increase, but I also hope that the commission looks into all these issues with the smell and the ability, non-ability to drink the water and to give it to our children and to give it to our pets. It's ridiculous to me that we live in the United States of America and have all these privileges that we work for, and we still have to live like this.
Let's see, next here I have Lydia Moore. Linda, is it Linda? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going to step in place here if I can. My name is Stan Weston. I'm from Canada. And
can you give us your address?
291 East Chicory Place over in Johnson Ranch, Mustang Ridge. I'm just going to comment that I think we all have regulations in place, and I just don't understand why we're even discussing this really at this kind of a forum. They should be in place that if I don't adhere to driving the speed limit, I get a speeding ticket. It's very simple. So I just don't understand how somebody that is in this position and there's this many complaints, how he's even able to maintain without having, I just don't understand how this isn't working, that they should be forced to follow a procedure. we have procedures in this country as well as in Canada. So let's deal with it that way. Thank you.
Okay, now Linda Moore.
Linda Moore, 196 East Claridge Drive, Johnson Ranch. I agree with what everyone is saying. Two people in the house, no pool. We use a certain amount of gallons and the price goes up, price never goes down. And the quality of the water is no good. I pay for a water system, yet I have to buy water to drink. It's just crazy. And I also vote no.
And Robert Moore.
My name's Robert Moore, 196 East Claridge Drive, Mustang Ridge. Been out here since approximately 2009. I have never in my entire life seen the politics as far as the good old boys club as bad as I've seen in here. This gentleman seems like he can get away with anything and everything, and he's never held accountable for it. I've done my research, and those of you who are aware that we've had an issue with E. coli in our water. We've had high levels of nitrates in our water. I remember there was a period where the schools notified school-age children and their parents not to drink the water. The biggest group that is affected by the high levels of nitrates and also the E. coli are infants, the elderly, and those who are being treated for immune deficiencies caused from cancer treatments. Those of us who would live in Solero, we are part of that elderly group. I am part of that elderly group. This gentleman, what he does and what he is doing is a health and safety violation. He's jeopardizing our lives. None of us can drink this water, and obviously, most of us probably are not aware when we bathe, the biggest organism on our body is our skin. These chemicals are being absorbed through our skin. How many of us are being made sick from this? And your doctors can't tell you what's causing it. I vote no. I'm opposed to this man having this increase. We're not here to pay for his legal fees. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Come on up. And we need to get your name and address and have a slip filled out.
Never done this before. This should be fun. My name is Mary Lou Silver, and I live at 930 West Leadwood Avenue in Santan Valley. I'm brand new to the area. I moved in December. There was an article in the this little flyer here about a high level of hydrogen sulfide that was detected January 31st, but people were not notified until February 14th, I believe. So it took 14 days for Johnson Utilities to let the department that was responsible for notification about the high levels so that they could notify people. And also, the quality of water is so bad here that I had to put in a system through my whole house in order to make sure that I was capable of being able to drink the water. And you're asking for an increase, but you don't do your job. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for being here, and everybody for being here. My name is Lori Poole, and I live at 648 East Blossom Road in Santan Valley. I just have a couple of comments. One, I'd like to know, I've lived in the area for about 2.5 years. This is my first home that I've had in a long, long time, and you know, first bills on my own that I've had to pay. My thing is I would like to know how the fees and charges that Johnson Utilities compares to other areas around here, the Phoenix and Florence and that sort of thing. I don't know where to find that to compare it to see if the fees and charges are reasonable base fees. Secondly, when I first purchased my home, I didn't live in it right away. I had not taken a shower, or I had a few plants put in as part of the new construction, very few plants, and they were all drought tolerant type thing. My first month's bill was for 9,000 gallons of water. I don't have a pool. I looked at this and I thought, what is this? You know, these plants can't be soaking up 9,000 gallons worth of water. So I went down. It was rectified, but frankly, I don't trust the billing system. It just seems very arbitrary. And thank you for letting me speak.
Yes, if we can have it. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yep, all right.
My name is Larry Carter. I live at 817 East Canyon Rock Road, in Santan Valley. I only really have one statement to make for the commission, and that's why would we want to support a company who is as inept as this company is? You know, why reward someone for doing a bad job? Thank you.
Again, do we have anyone else? Okay, it looks like we're wrapped up for this session. There is another session scheduled to start at noon, which will run from noon till 2 if necessary, and another session scheduled for 6 to 8 this evening if it necessary to run that long. So if you I assume have not necessarily want to come back for those, but if you talk to your neighbors or whatever, let people know that we're going to be here to take their comments, and so we'll make sure we get everybody covered. So with that, I would, I guess, call this session to an end, and we'll reconvene at noon today. So thank you all for coming.